How's it going, guys? Dragonstar Production here, back with another What If video, and in this edition of Dragon Ball What Ifs, we're going to be covering part 2 of What If Frieza's taller, more attractive brother was canon. Alright, so last time we left off with a full-blown battlefield on Namek. Goku was brawling with Salza, while Gohan and Krillin found themselves inside Frieza's ship, searching for the last of the Dragon Balls that they needed. But most importantly, Frieza was irritated with the Ginyu Force's failures, so he actually decided to jump in the fight for himself, all while Frieza's older brother Cooler watched with a vicious grin above while all this went down. And although we're talking about Cooler and being canon, we're going to start off with Cooler's lackey, Salza, who is taking on Goku. Salza proved to be a threat, but Goku's Kaioken proved to be too much for Salza, and Salza eventually got desperate and made a Keyblade on his hand. However, like all of his other attempts, Salza was unsuccessful. Goku just was so easily able to weave all of Salza's attacks just to elbow him right across the neck, knocking him out. But Goku's first challenge on Namek had just arrived in front of him, Lord Frieza. But before we get into that, let's discuss Krillin and Gohan. Gohan and Krillin searched the room after room until finally they found the Dragon Balls. The only problem is Vegeta was the one holding them. Vegeta turns around to find the two staring at him, but Vegeta doesn't attack. Instead, Vegeta threatened the two if they didn't take them to where the other balls were. However, remember that Krillin and Gohan both had their potentials locked in part 1, which will come into play here and give them the upper hand against Vegeta. And Vegeta wasn't expecting this, not from these two. Gohan and Krillin dashed in together, knocking Vegeta against the wall. As Vegeta stood back up, he was nailed by a dual ki blast from Krillin and Gohan straight to the chest, causing him to fall right back down to the ground. Krillin and Gohan would then snatch the balls and dart off while Vegeta crawled back into one of the healing tanks, hoping that he would actually make it in time. However, I think it's now time that we skip into Goku versus Frieza. Like most fights in this What If, this one is, well, rather lopsided. Frieza in his first form alone is able to wipe the floor with Goku. Goku even powers up to his Kaioken times 5, but not even this can help Goku. Frieza just beats the Saiyan down, slapping him around. In fact, Frieza was ready to finish him off, and before he could though, Goku mumbles the words, Kaioken times 6. This gave Goku a slight edge by only about 10,000, but Goku knew that he had to finish the fight off quickly if he actually planned on doing it after sensing the gap between the two. Goku dashed in, crashing two fists right in the gut of Frieza, causing Frieza to spit up. Goku then charged up a full power Kamehameha just for his body to give up on him. Goku tumbled down to the blue grass of Namek, crying in pain. Frieza, seeing the fight was all but over, he walked over towards Goku. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Looks like I'll have the joy of killing another monkey. Frieza lifted one finger as he shot a death beam. Goku was helpless, nobody to save him, but this actually wasn't the case. Instead, the death beam was actually blocked by another death beam. Frieza was in awe and he spins his head to notice his older brother, Cooler. Frieza, though, would turn his head back and then yelling at his older brother, asking him why the hell he was there. Cooler, though, ignores him and slowly would approach him. Frieza, though, never quit screaming. In fact, the only reason that he stops is because Cooler then grabs him by the throat, telling him that he's here to take what's his. Frieza, though, had no idea what Cooler was talking about, but he also wouldn't have time to think about it before Cooler actually threw Frieza up in the air to then shoot a ki blast right at him. Frieza, though, was able to dodge it, well, slightly. Instead, the ki blast would slice Frieza's tail a little bit off. Frieza knew he had no choice but powering up to his final form, especially if he planned on fighting Cooler. Cooler would then let his little brother transform just to tell him that your power is more pathetic now than it ever has been. This then pisses Frieza off so much, without no thought, he then dashed in at Cooler. Cooler, though, was thrilled at what his little brother was doing. However, let's take a break from the two brothers fighting, and we're going to actually be talking about Krillin and Gohan again, who actually found themselves right in front of the brothers' battle. But this actually works out for the best because the two were actually able to swipe up Goku and all of the other Dragon Balls. And just a thought, it would be smart to take Goku back to Guru just so that they could actually maybe unlock his potential, but also have him read off so that they can use the Dragon Balls. When the three arrive at Guru's, they then explain the reason of why they are there and the threat of both Frieza and Cooler, who are now fighting. Guru, though, was already worried about this, but he did have high hopes after sensing and reading Goku's mind. Guru, seeing that this would actually help him, he then releases Goku's potential, having his power then skyrocket, and this also doesn't include the fact that it's going to continue going up as his potential is released. Krillin and Gohan was amazed, but snapped back into reality as Nail would then help them summon Porunga. Once summoned though, the wishes actually stay as canon, so then this would then lead to Goku trying to save Namek by heading back to Frieza and Cooler. Gohan, Krillin, Piccolo, and Nail would all follow behind Goku as basically his backup. However, Vegeta would finally get back onto the fight, and he would actually think he's a legendary Super Saiyan after he gets the Zenkai boost from being in the healing pod, even though we all know, well, he wasn't a Super Saiyan. Anyway, let's get back into the heated fight. Frieza and Cooler were right on the same power level for the most part. However, in their fourth form, Cooler had an edge slightly over Frieza, but Frieza had a trick up his sleeve, and that was his full power 100%. Powerful form. Frieza then gains the upper hand on Cooler. With each punch Frieza throws, he's getting madder and madder, so the punches are hitting harder. Until finally, Frieza would then charge up a death ball, tired of waiting, and then he would then toss it straight towards Cooler and Namek. Frieza knew that he was in the grasp of winning, but before the blast could actually evaporate Cooler, Goku comes flying in, kicking Frieza right across the jaw. Goku was hoping that this would actually redirect the death ball, hoping it would go in the air, but this wasn't the case. The death ball was still heading straight towards Cooler, who, to everyone's surprise, Cooler unleashed a power far beyond Frieza's 100% power. Cooler had evolved his evolution even further into a fifth form. Then with little ease, blocks the death ball and shoots it back into the air, reflecting it right towards Frieza. Frieza, seeing the blast, dives out of the way, but he then dove straight into a Kamehameha. This doesn't kill Frieza, but it does hurt him rather good. Frieza at this point was a toddler mad. He didn't get his way, so Frieza angrily would then lift up Krillin into the air, using his telekinesis powers, just trying to get one win. And we all know what happens here. Goku screams for Frieza to stop, but of course Frieza doesn't listen. And then he kills Krillin. Goku was lit into a golden aura, the first golden aura of the series. Goku was now a Super Saiyan. Everybody was in shock, especially Frieza and Cooler, and of course, well, Vegeta. They believed that this was the only a myth, but Goku proved to them that it wasn't. Goku dashed straight towards the two, just for Cooler to back off. Frieza, although fighting Cooler, he thought Cooler would fight alongside him. However, Frieza was rather wrong. Goku's fist would then pound right into Frieza's stomach. It was obvious now that Goku had the clear advantage over Frieza. Frieza started getting desperate, crying for Cooler for help, but of course, Cooler doesn't help him. Instead, he simply replies that this is your mistake, brother. You let him go. You fix it. Before Frieza could say another word, Goku would then axe hand him against the top of the head, causing Frieza to actually go crashing into the water. Frieza, though, wouldn't get up. Instead, Frieza would actually use his last resort and sink down to the bottom of the water and actually place his hands on the ground, blasting the core of Namek. Lava would then begin to start erupting out of the ground, as nobody knows why, until Frieza rises from the water, announcing that they only have 5 minutes to escape the planet before it actually explodes. Immediately, though, Goku would enrage out, knowing that all the Namekians, his friends and son, are now all in danger. Goku then would start brutalizing Frieza as he screams at everyone to escape the planet. Obviously, everybody listens, well, except for Vegeta. Vegeta vows to watch the legendary Super Saiyan finish off Frieza once and for all, which is actually looking like it's going to happen, and it's very close to happening. Goku with each punch is pushing Frieza closer and closer to death until Goku actually is ready to end the fight once and for all. Goku pulls his hands back as he then shoots off a Kamehameha with one hand. The blast swallows Frieza. In fact, Goku and Vegeta both believed that Frieza was dead, so the two Saiyans would then find Ginyu space pods that were left there. Goku, of course, not knowing what to do, he would just start spamming buttons, pushing them until he finally would shoot off. Vegeta, wanting to follow the legendary Super Saiyan, he does this by going right behind Goku, and the two actually find themselves heading to Yardrat. As for Frieza, well, he finds himself crawling, barely holding on to life when Cooler actually then flies down on top of his brother. He looks at him in the eyes, and then he stomps right on Frieza's hand. Cooler looks down at his brother, and he begins to laugh. "Oh, my dear brother, what do I tell Daddy after your death?" Frieza, though, replies as he coughs up blood, "I'm not Cooler interrupts Frieza, shooting a death beam right through Frieza's skull. "Oh, but you are." Alright guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this part. It was a lot of fun to write, and I actually have a big surprise for part 3, and no, it will not be the finale like most of my other short what-ifs that I figured this one was going to be, but no, I have a long way to actually keep Cooler in for the long haul. If you guys want to see what happens, you better like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon, and, well, I'll be seeing you guys in the next video, which I'm actually not sure what it is, but we'll have to find out, and I'll post a community tab so you guys can vote on it because I haven't done that in a while. With that being said, this has been Dragonstar Productions. I'll see you guys later.
Congratulations, champ. You made it to the end of the video. Now, if you hit that subscription button, that thumbs up button, and that bell icon, you won't catch a dynamite kick.